Most people believe they're making decisions. They're not. They're reacting. They're following. They're copying what they see around them. They wait for the perfect moment, and they call that deciding. It isn't. Here's the truth. Your life is not shaped by your talent, not by your luck, not by your timing. It's shaped by the quality of your decisions. Every single day, in small moments that feel insignificant. Those are the moments that build your future. And 5 years later, when you look back, you realize that was the exact point where your path split. Here's what's dangerous. Most people are making those decisions at the lowest possible level, and they don't even know levels exist. I've seen this on my own channel. People watch every video, save content, take notes, and still stay stuck. Why? Because it's not about how much you know, it's about how you think. When things are unclear, how do you think? When the answer isn't obvious, how do you decide? When the stakes are real and nothing is guaranteed, how do you move? That's the difference between someone who moves forward and someone who stays stuck year after year. Today, we're breaking down 6 levels of thinking, 6 ways people process decisions. Where you are right now on this ladder is quietly shaping your money, your relationships, your direction, whether you realize it or not. Most people never even see this ladder. By the end of this, you will. Before we go further, drop this in the comments. I choose with clarity. Let's begin. Level 1. Default decisions. This is where most people live, and they don't even realize it. At this level, you're not deciding. You're repeating. You're doing what you did yesterday, last year, what you've always done. Why? Because it's familiar, and familiar feels safe. Same job, same spending habits, same reactions when things go wrong. Same opinions you've held for years without ever questioning them. None of it is truly chosen, it's just continued. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. Real decisions require effort, so it grabs existing patterns and repeats them. The problem? When that same autopilot controls the decisions that actually matter. Your career, your money, your relationships, your direction. The world is moving, and if your decisions aren't evolving with it, you're falling behind. Not because you're failing, because you're standing still while everything else moves. I've seen people stuck in jobs they hate for years, not because they love it, but because leaving requires a decision, and decisions feel risky, so they stay. That's level 1. It feels like life, but it's just repetition. The moment you recognize this, you've already grown. Most people never even get that far. Comment. I break old patterns. Level 2. Imitation thinking. Now you wake up from autopilot, you look around, you think, I need to change something. So what do? You copy. You see someone successful and you try to do what they do. You see a trend and you follow it. You hear about a strategy that worked and you adopt it. And honestly, this is progress. You're no longer asleep. You're learning. But here's the flaw. Imitation ignores context. What worked for them worked because of their background, their resources, their timing, their skills, their environment. When you copy the action without the context, you're not making the same decision. You're making a weaker version of it. I've seen this on YouTube. People copy successful channels, same titles, same style, same format, and still don't grow. Why? Because the context is missing. And there's another problem. When you follow what's popular, you enter the most crowded lane. You're not getting ahead. You're joining the back of a long line. The people who actually stand out think differently. Comment. My path is mine. Level 3. Information-heavy thinking. Now you stop copying, you start researching, you read, You watch, you listen, you study, you gather data. This is a higher level. You're becoming more aware. But here's where many people get stuck. They believe more information equals better decisions. Truth. After a certain point, more information doesn't create clarity. It creates confusion. One source says one thing, another says the opposite. A third adds more variables. Now you know more, but you feel less certain. This is analysis paralysis. I've experienced this myself. I delayed decisions because I kept searching for more clarity, but I wasn't researching, I was avoiding. Decision-making is uncomfortable. Research feels productive, so people stay stuck in research. Perfect information doesn't exist. It never will. At some point you have to ask, do I have enough to move? That's where level 4 begins. Comment. I act despite uncertainty. Level 4. Trade-off awareness. Now your thinking sharpens. You stop looking for perfect options. You accept that every decision has a cost. When you take a job, you're not just gaining income. You're trading time, energy, freedom. When you build something, you sacrifice comfort, stability, distractions. Every decision is a trade. There is no path without a price. Once you accept this, two things happen. You decide faster and you regret less because you knew the cost before you chose. You're not chasing a perfect life. You're choosing the price you're willing to pay. Comment. I trade wisely, always. Level 5. Probability thinking. Now everything changes. You stop asking, will this work? You start asking, how likely is this to work? That shift is powerful. When I started building my channel, I didn't know if it would succeed. But I looked at my skills, my consistency, the demand, and I saw the odds were reasonable. That was enough to start. This is how professionals think. Doctors, investors, high performers. No guarantees, only probabilities, and emotionally, this frees you. If something fails, you don't collapse, because you knew it wasn't guaranteed. High probability decisions can still fail. That doesn't make them bad decisions, it makes them real. Comment. Odds favor the bold. Level 6. Second order thinking. This is the highest level. Now you don't just ask, what happens next? You ask, what happens after that? And after that, you follow the chain of consequences. Most people only think one step ahead. That's why they stay stuck. When I chose harder paths in life, it hurt in the short term, but over time, it changed everything. This level forces you to think beyond comfort, short term versus long term. Easy now often becomes painful later. Hard now often creates a better future. People who grow think long term. People who stay stuck think short term. Comment. I think steps ahead. Now here's the reality. Most people aren't stuck because of bad luck. They're stuck because of weak thinking. They delay decisions. They copy others. They overanalyze. They wait for perfect conditions, and life moves on without them. The real skill isn't knowing everything. The real skill is making decisions in uncertainty and standing by them. When you own your decisions, you stop wasting energy on regret. You move, you adapt, you improve. That's real compounding. 5 years from now, the person thinking at level 5 or 6, even imperfectly, will be in a completely different place than someone stuck at level 1 or 2. Not because they're smarter, but because they think differently every day in small moments. If this gave you value, like the video. Share it with someone who's stuck. Subscribe for more content that actually sharpens your mind. And remember this, today you will face a decision. Without full information, without guarantees, that will never change. What can change is how you respond to that moment. Better thinking doesn't give you certainty. It gives you direction. And over time, that direction shapes your life. You're already making decisions. The only question is, at what level? Now go build something. Now this is where the real game begins. Because understanding the levels isn't enough. Applying them is what separates you. Most people collect knowledge, but they never change their behavior. And that's the real problem. Decision-making isn't a knowledge issue. It's an execution issue. Number 7, decision identity. What you think matters, but what you believe about yourself matters more. If your identity is, I overthink, you will overthink in every situation. If your identity is, I avoid risk, you will hesitate every time. But the moment you decide, I am decisive, your decisions start changing. Identity controls actions. Actions create results. So the first step is simple. Change your identity. Set a rule in your mind. I decide fast and I correct fast. Not perfect decisions. Fast decisions plus fast corrections. That's how high performers operate. Number 8, speed versus perfection. Most people are chasing perfect decisions, and because of that, they never move. But the truth is, perfect decisions don't exist. The people who win aren't perfect. They're fast. They take action quickly and learn along the way. Slow perfection keeps you stuck. Fast, imperfect action moves you forward. So next time you're stuck, ask yourself, do I need this to be perfect, or do I just need to start? Number 9, emotional control in decisions. Most decisions aren't logical, they're emotional. Fear, anger, insecurity. These distort your thinking. When you're emotional, you lose long-term vision. That's why powerful people control their emotions first, then they decide. Simple rule. Never decide at emotional peaks. Don't decide in anger. Don't decide in fear. Get calm. Then decide. That's where clarity lives. Number 10, environment influence. Your decisions aren't just yours. Your environment shapes them. If you're surrounded by small thinkers, you'll make small decisions. If you're around people who take risks, you'll grow faster. Choosing your environment is part of decision-making. Wrong environment equals weak decisions. Right environment equals sharper thinking. Number 11, decision fatigue. Every day you make dozens of decisions, and every decision drains mental energy. That's why high performers simplify their lives. Same routines, same structure, fewer unnecessary choices. So when real decisions show up,